Okay, get ready, because we're about to dive into something that's really sending ripples across the energy world.
Hmm.
Imagine a discovery, I mean, one so big, it's being called the most significant in 25 years for, one of the real
Yeah, we're
giants.
talking BP, right?
Yeah.
Offshore Brazil,
Ah,
the Boomerang well.
exactly. Boomerang.
And look, it's more than just finding a lot of oil and gas. It feels like a real strategic turning point.
Right.
So today we'll get into how this one impacts, the competition among the super majors, what it means for the big players and the market overall.
And crucially, what it means for you, the professionals actually working in the upstream sector.
Hmm.
We need to go beyond those headlines.
Absolutely, because a find like this, well, it signals a whole lot more than just a win for BP's shareholders.
Definitely. So our mission today is to pull together insights from uh, industry reports, company releases, expert analyses,
Hmm.
really give you the fast track on what boomerang actually
Let's
means.
do it.
Okay, so let's start with just the scale. Boomerang, well, over 19,000 feet deep.
Hmm.
That's deep. In Brazil's ultra-deep waters.
Yeah, it's way down there.
When you say historically big, what really makes this one stand out? We hear about big finds sometimes.
Well, what's really striking is that for BP, this is their largest discovery in a quarter century, 25 years.
Wow.
To give you some context, people are comparing it to their huge Caspian Sea discovery back in the late 90s.
Okay, that's serious scale.
It is, and it's not just about the volume. It's a powerful signal, really. It suggests the supermajors might be swinging back towards these frontier deepwater projects.
After years of being really careful with spending, right? Capital discipline.
Exactly, after years of that. So this feels like a significant strategic shift.
And drilling somewhere like the Santos Basin, I mean, that sounds incredibly difficult. Can you maybe walk us through some of the technical stuff? What challenges did BP have to overcome here
Oh, absolutely. The technical side is, well, it's immense. You need incredibly advanced seismic imaging first.
to see what's down there?
Yeah, to basically see through miles of complex rock and salt layers beneath the seabed. It's incredibly tricky geology.
Okay.
Then you need these high-pressure well designs. Think about the immense pressure down there. It's extreme.
Like drilling into a giant pressurized
Yeah.
something miles underground.
Kind of, yeah. And you obviously need very specialized deep water rigs, the kind of capability only a few players really have at that scale.
So it really shows off BP's technical job.
It does, but it also highlights just how crucial the service providers and the subsea contractors are. They're the ones constantly pushing the engineering limits offshore.
Right, it's a whole ecosystem. Now, this huge discovery, it's not happening in a vacuum for BP, is it?
No, definitely not.
We've heard about them signaling pretty major cost cuts, portfolio reviews, maybe even pulling out of places like Namibia, other parts of Brazil outside Santos, the North Sea.
Correct.
So how does Boomerang fit with all that trimming and focusing?
Well, if you connect the dots, Boomerang really shows BP's Strategic Rebalancing Act playing out. So yes, they're streamlining in some areas, cutting back where maybe the returns aren't as strong or the scale isn't there.
Yeah.
But they're clearly doubling down on these core areas that offer, real materiality, significant impact and returns.
And Brazil is now one of those core areas.
Absolutely. Brazil, particularly the Santos Basin where Boomerang is, alongside the U.S. Gulf of Mexico, these are now anchoring BP's upstream growth.
Right, and that complements things like their Argos Southwest expansion in the Gulf.
Yeah.
Right, which is already set to add, what, 20,000 barrels a day soon?
Exactly. It's all about focusing their firepower, their capital, where it makes the biggest, most profitable difference. Core plays.
Okay, and this brings us to a really interesting dynamic in the wider industry. Deepwater seems to be having a resurgence just as things get, well, choppy for other sectors.
Yeah, particularly shale.
Right, you probably heard about this so-called price war in shale.
Yeah.
OPEC, particularly Saudi Arabia and Russia, pumping more oil.
Increasing output significantly.
What's that doing to the U.S. shale producers?
Well, it's pushed oil prices down, often well below the breaking point for a lot of U.S. shale operators.
Which is higher than deepwater, typically.
Generally, yes. Shale often needs something like, say, $75 a barrel to really thrive, and prices have been closer to $62, sometimes lower.
Ouch. So what are the consequences?
Pretty significant. You're seeing operators really curbing their activities, cutting capital spending. I think the figure was around $1.8 billion over just 2 quarters.
Wow.
Yeah, and rig counts are down, fracking crews are down. The EIA, the Energy Information Administration, is actually projecting the first overall U.S. production drop since 2015, if you exclude the pandemic years.
So a really tough environment for shale right now.
It is. It's really testing their financial models, their efficiency gains.
Okay, so shale is facing these headwinds. How does a massive deep water find like Bumerangue change the game? It makes deep water look more attractive again, doesn't it?
It absolutely reinforces Deepwater's role, but maybe for slightly different reasons now. It's about competitiveness.
Thanks so.
What's really interesting is that the break-even prices for producing oil from Brazil's pre-salt, that's the oil trapped deep under thick salt layers.
Right. Notoriously complex.
Exactly. Those break-ins are now very competitive. We're talking maybe $35 to $45 per barrel in many cases.
Okay, that's much lower than the $75 figure you mentioned for some shale.
Precisely. So suddenly, these deepwater barrels look increasingly viable, increasingly competitive against shale, which is struggling with those higher costs.
So what does that mean for the industry, for service providers, operators?
It means sustained demand. Sustained demand for offshore rigs, for subsea tiebacks. Those are the underwater pipelines and systems connecting wells back to platforms. And for FPSOs, those big floating production, storage, and offloading vessels. Basically mobile offshore factories.
And these are long-term projects, right? Not like the quicker cycles in shale.
Exactly. These are long cycle assets. They offer volume stability over many years, sometimes decades. That's a really stark contrast to shale's much shorter production cycles. It's a fundamental shift in competitiveness.
But this competitive pressure, these big deep water plays, it's not just pushing innovation at the wellhead, is it? It's driving changes elsewhere too, like water management.
Yeah.
Even in places like the Permian Basin.
That's a great point. You can't just focus on the drilling. How companies manage resources like water is becoming critical.
So what are they doing? What are the big players doing in the Permian?
Well, you see majors like ExxonMobil, Chevron, Oxy, ConocoPhillips. They're investing significantly in more sustainable water management.
What does that look like? Recycling.
Yeah, things like recycling produced water, that's the wastewater coming up with the oil and gas, treating it and reusing it for fracking or other operations. Also desalination of brackish groundwater and exploring beneficial reuse, like potentially for agriculture, though that's complex.
And those are?
Reduce reliance on scarce freshwater, obviously meet environmental regulations, and actually drive down costs. Water handling is expensive.
Makes sense. Are there big challenges still?
Oh, sure. Validating the safety of treated water for different uses, managing where to put treated wastewater if you can't reuse it, all core space limitations, and just scaling these technologies cost effectively. But the commitment is definitely growing.
Okay. And then there's the other huge innovation driver, AI, artificial intelligence.
Ah, yes, the AI revolution.
We hear people calling it game-changing for efficiency. How is AI actually being used in upstream right now? Is it really making that much difference?
It really is transformative. We're seeing AI tools doing things like guiding the drill bit in real time for more accuracy.
Wow.
Forecasting potential problems downhole before they happen, subsurface hiccups as you called them, and even enabling drilling in complex geological zones that were previously considered maybe unviable or too risky.
Can you give some specific examples? Who's doing what?
Sure. BP, for instance, is using AI to speed up seismic interpretation, understanding those complex underground maps faster. Devon Energy reports seeing something like a 25% increase in the productive lifespan of their wells, which is huge, getting more out for longer.
25%, that's significant.
It is. And Chevron's using drones equipped with AI for monitoring equipment, predicting failures, cutting downtime.
So the bottom line is?
Faster drilling, lower costs, better use of capital. It's not just small tweaks. It's fundamentally changing how companies can operate, especially when margins are tight.
Okay, so bringing it all together, BP's big move back into deepwater with Bumerangue, it puts them squarely back in competition with the other giants, right?
Absolutely. You've got ExxonMobil, who are, massively successful in Guyana right now.
Right.
You've got Chevron constantly reshaping their portfolio. And then in Brazil itself, you have Petrobras, the national champion, deeply embedded across all the pre-salt assets.
So what does this renewed competition mean for people working in the sector, for the professionals listening?
Well, it definitely amps up the competition for resources. You're going to see, I think, more intense competition for the best offshore rigs, for specialized subsea gear,
And talent?
and critically, yes, for skilled, experienced offshore labor in that region particularly. It becomes a high-stakes game for getting the best resources and the people needed to develop them. Specialized skills will be at a premium.
So for you, the upstream professional tuning into this deep dive, the real takeaway here feels like a fundamental recalibration.
I think that's right.
The industry is swinging back towards a focus on these long-cycle, complex, deep-water projects.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just about finding oil. It's a strategic shift that demands very specific skills. Complex offshore operations, advanced project management, understanding the shifting global supply dynamic.
Exactly. Your career path over the next decade is likely going to be shaped quite significantly by this deepwater comeback.
Now, navigating all these changes, optimizing operations, adopting AI, handling all this data, it sounds complex. Companies often need help, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Tackling these challenges effectively often requires bringing in specialized expertise. That's where firms like EAG Inc. often step in.
Okay, tell us about them.
Well, they work across the board mining, upstream, midstream, even renewables now. They bring something like 20-plus years of experience helping companies solve these kinds of tough business problems.
What sort of problems specifically?
Things like automating processes that are maybe still manual or inefficient, improving the reliability of operational or financial data, which is crucial.
Sure.
Turning that raw data into genuinely useful information for decision-making, leveraging outside experts, optimizing their whole IT setup to support the business better.
Do you have any examples?
Yeah, they mentioned helping clients speed up implementation of Quorum to PS. That's a common accounting software in oil and gas.
Okay, familiar name.
Right. And automating T1 reporting, which is a key regulatory thing companies have to submit. Their CEO, Elizabeth Gerbel, has even talked about creating the AI-powered revenue org, so they're clearly focused on leveraging tech like AI too.
So getting that kind of expert support can really help companies stay agile.
Definitely. In this kind of fast-moving environment, it can be critical.
And speaking of staying current and agile, continuous learning is key. There's some important industry events coming up people should probably know about.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping skills sharp and networking is vital. So first up, mark your calendars for the Inertia User Conference.
Okay.
That's September 4th and 5th, 2025, down in Nashville, Tennessee. It's really for customers of Inertia Software a good place for updates, hands-on sessions, talking business processes, and networking with peers. Plus, CPE credits.
Good deal. What else?
Then there's the NATO-A 2025 Institute. NATO-A is the National Association of Division Order Analysts.
Right.
Their event is August 27th, 29th, 2025 in Boston, MA. Really tailored for those division order professionals.
What kind of topics?
Things like using Excel for DOI, builds division of interest calculations, compliance issues in oil and gas, prep for the CDOA exam, that's the Certified Division Order Analyst cert, and leadership training too.
Okay, very specific, useful stuff. And one more.
Yep, for the lease and title analysts out there, there's the NELTA Conference 2025, National Association of Lease and Title Analysts.
Got it.
That one's in Miami, Florida, from August 4th to 6th, 2025. It's all about continuous education for them, covering a whole range of topics, from basic to really advanced stuff.
So lots of opportunities for professionals to skill up and connect. Crucial in this environment.
Absolutely. You really have to stay on top of things.
Okay, so wrapping this up. BP's big Brazil discovery, Bumerangue. It's clearly way more than just one company's success story.
Oh, definitely.
It feels like a powerful symbol, really, of deep water's enduring importance, its competitiveness in the global energy picture.
Yeah, it's like a snapshot of all these forces colliding, geopolitics, technology, environmental pressures, all reshaping upstream right now, impacting everything from billion-dollar investments down to daily tasks.
So maybe a final thought for our listeners to chew on. As we look ahead, how does the industry keep balancing that need for finding huge new reserves like Bumerangue with, the accelerating pace of technology like AI and the increasing pressure for environmental sustainability?
That's the multi-trillion-dollar question, isn't it? What new skills, what different ways of working, maybe more interdisciplinary approaches? What's going to be essential for professionals trying to navigate this energy landscape as we head into the 2030s and beyond? Something to think about.